Have you guys ever seen Jungle Book? You know that song? This is the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities that Baloo sings, the bear. And one of the things that I love about his character is he's so carefree. Like he's just dancing his way through the jungle, through life. And there's a lot of other characters that I look up to in anime, especially. I love watching anime shows, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and Goku, Gon from Hunter x Hunter. All these people that I describe, one of the most powerful qualities that they have is having fun. You know, despite the different challenges that they face in the different stories that I'm talking about, they're always dancing, they're always smiling, they're always finding a way to be happy and carefree. And I was thinking about, well, how could we apply this quality to our own lives? What's a simple way that we could be a bit more carefree? And I don't mean completely carefree that we're passive, but I mean carefree enough to let go of our expectations of how things should be, how they're supposed to be, how we want them to plan out. But just accepting what is and kind of dancing with the punches like Baloo does. You see, most of us, we at some level are unsatisfied. And that's partly what this channel is all about, is personal growth and development. We have an expectation of what we want from our lives, from ourselves, from our relationships, from our businesses. And so we try to turn those expectations into reality. So this channel, I help you set goals. I help you with habits to be more consistent with waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, to be more consistent with reading books and retaining that information. And we're constantly trying to control things, both externally and internally. Externally, we try to control and match our expectations to reality, but we try to enforce it in a good way. And sometimes that can be negative though. If you think about, we want our relationships, the people around us, to be consistent. We want to know that if we act in a certain way, or if we do a certain thing, we're going to get a certain outcome. In the workplace, a boss wants to know that his employees are going to work in a certain pattern. They're going to be reliable and get the projects done to the required level of quality. As an employee, you want to know that you're going to get your paycheck on time. So there's a real benefit to these expectations, but there's also a drawback in that we're constantly trying to make things happen. We're constantly trying to scheme our way into making things happen a certain way. And when they don't happen that way, it leads to a dissatisfaction. So how do we create a balance of that? And then internally, we want ourselves to be consistent. We want things to be solid. You know, we want our emotions to stay constantly motivated. We want to be happy all the time and not experience sadness or disappointment or failure. We want things to be a certain way. We want our routines to be consistent. We want to know that, you know, I want to be the guy, the robot, the machine that wakes up no matter what at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day. And we expect that consistency, and that consistency requires solidity. And here's the thing. A helpful thing to remember is life is not solid. Life is uncertain. The people around us, they constantly change. Their identities shift. And so their behaviors change. The environments around us are constantly changing. Climate change is happening. You know, the weather is changing from day to day. The clothes you're wearing are changing from day to day. The things that are in fashion change from day to day. What you believe also goes through minute shifts, day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade. Things are constantly changing. So to have an expectation that they're going to be solid, that it's going to be A equals B every time, is unrealistic. So how can we be more like Baloo in Jungle Book and roll with the bare necessities of life? Well, here's the thing. Bruce Lee has a brilliant quote that I have loved since I was 14, and you've probably heard it before. Just like water, you want to be like water. Water is fluid, it's flexible. But if you put water into a bowl, it becomes the bowl. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Now, water can crash or it can flow. Be water, my friends. Now, I can't say it half as well as he did when he first delivered that line, which was inspired by Jiddu Krishnamurti's work. But you get the idea. that you want to have a fluidity to everything that you're doing. You want to let go of your expectations, and instead of expecting solidity, understand that life is more like a mist. I took this from Leo Babauta from Zen Habits, this idea that it's like a mist that's constantly moving through you. And that mist isn't solid. It's kind of, you can play around with it. It changes shape. It has no real form, but it can be thick sometimes, or it can be really thin and not very thick, not very dense. And understand that it's constantly moving. Yesterday, as I was walking through Seven Valley Country Park, I was looking down at the river from the bridge and watching twigs as they float by. And life is exactly the same, that if I look down, I'm only seeing those twigs in front of me, but those twigs are always changing. So if I expect for a big log to keep coming every time, I'm trying to fix that one moment in time. I'm trying to hold on to it and control that one moment, when actually I don't know what's coming upstream, but I can only see what's right in front of me. It's the same thing with this mist, that things are always coming your way that you can't anticipate. But what you can see is this present moment, this pixel before you. So yeah, we want to control things. We want to have a certainty in our belief of what we want, and we want to be aware of those things. But life is also about, like Baloo, learning to be a bit more carefree, taking things a little less seriously, taking a bubble bath if you have to, and learning to dance with those punches. Because if you were a tree and the wind is just white, like, what's the word I'm looking for? The wind is just thrashing against you and you try to stay really, really firm and brittle, it's going to break. Whereas if you're able to bend with the wind and still maintain your structure and still maintain the core of who you are and what you want, you're going to be a lot more happy and successful in life. And hope, as an emotion, it's not a feeling as most people think. Hope is about knowing what you want, knowing how to get there, and then adapting to the changes that come along the way. So for me, I know that I want to take this channel to 100,000 subscribers, and I have a plan of action of how I think I can get there, but it's not going to go according to my plan. I know that. And hope is about knowing what I want, knowing how to get there, but adapting along the way so that I can constantly bend with the wind like that tree, or like water. So be water, my friends, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll talk to you in tomorrow's daily video. Peace.